Welcome back to part 20 of another 999 playthrough, folks. Are you ready to get confused out of your minds? I know we are, aren't you, Mexi?
Are you ready for the plot of this fucking game to start? Because I definitely am. I'm getting sick of all these people just blindly killing each other for no fucking reason and no context. Let's get to the sci-fi shit now.
Yeah. Welcome to the torture room, folks. I have no idea what this room was used for. I honestly don't. I have no single clue. I've played through this game so many times, never really figured out why this thing was here.
I mean, probably just added in by Free the Soul. Could have been added in by Zero himself. There's a lot.
Yeah. I can imagine what it might be for. Perhaps that experiment that Seven was talking about, if I can put it in those vague terms.
That too, but
yeah.
That would imply that the Nonary game is taking place in the same boat that the kids were in. And that's just, that sounds like a game theory, my good friend.
Oh, man. Well, it looks like I gotta start doing that stuff now.
You gotta start making videos about assumptions. Oh wait, that's these things. Never mind. We gotta escape to escape the scape.
Yeah. The puzzle room itself isn't really very complicated at all. It's actually one of the easiest puzzle rooms in the entire game. Probably shortest as well. But just like the environment you're put in and the story segment we get in this room is just very potent, in my opinion.
That's a good word, potent. This also leads us to one and only one ending too, so...
Yeah. Because I think we mentioned it before, but if you go through door number 3, you're locked into this ending. So you thought you'd still be able to get into the door number 6 and door number 1? Thought you'd be able to re-experience the axe ending and the knife ending? Too bad.
No, you're getting a much, much better ending. An ending with plot. An ending that explains who the fuck these people are. Kind of.
You're going to get a better ending and you're going to like it.
Good, because that last one was very, like I said, very disappointing.
No, don't put your hand in there. There's a bomb in there.
It's like the scene from Silent Hill where she puts her hand in the toilet. Oh no, James does it, but then Heather refuses to do it. And then now we get a key out of it. I mean, that's cool. It's the eyeball key.
It sees you when you're sleeping.
It never blinks. It's the Majora's Mask key. Because that's definitely the Majora's Mask guy.
Oh boy. Who do you think is going to get to sit in the torture chair today?
I hope it's me. Like, just make the thoughts go away. I think in this dialogue too, Seven refuses to sit in the chair, but there's actually some concept art where all the characters are kind of standing around in the room, and Lotus is the one sitting in the chair. She's just like kind of lounging, but like Clover, June, and Santa are also there, so it's kind of meant. It's like I said, it's more of an art book concept art, not actually like a scene from the game.
Yeah. Remember that part where I said this was probably the easiest puzzle room in the entire game? I still kind of stand by that, but this puzzle was a little bit tricky. I'll give you that. I will still say that.
Well, I mean, it's easy once you go through it the first time. You know,
yeah.
This only leads to one ending, so.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I guess that first time is going to be your only time. So, whereas the puzzle itself can be relatively quick, the fact that at least the solution can be a bit finicky. It takes some time. It can take some time, but it can also be, like you said, a very fast puzzle room altogether.
And the music goes very, very well with this scenario.
Right?
Yeah. Dude, I think we've touched on the soundtrack for this game in the past quite a bit, but I gotta say, I still freaking love this soundtrack so much. It's such an excellently done, excellently crafted. Not a single song in here is bad. None of them.
No, not at all. Like, I wish I have more, but the thing is that I really only listened to, say, 1 or 2 tracks and, like, looked up the names of them. It's just, a lot of them are really atmospheric. It's a great soundtrack while the game is playing, but I tend to not listen to, especially with this series, the music outside the game, because it's just going to make me sit around anxious, and I'd rather not. I'm good. I don't need to feel like I'm in a hurry to solve shit when I'm just sitting around the house.
Well, I don't know. Maybe one of these days your house will become an escape the room, and you'll have to stick on that music then.
No, the funny thing is, my parents once went up to Colorado to visit my stepbrothers, and while up there, they did an escape the room thing, and my parents were all excited about it. And they were coming to me like, "Do you know about these escape the room things?" It's like, yeah, I've played like a million of them in video games.
Yeah, I did one of those during my college's little. It was like a little Halloween party. It was school represented, but yeah, it was kind of fun. Not as very well designed as this, but it was nice.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've never actually done an escape the room. How do they stack up to, if someone who has played Zero Escape were to do an escape the room? Like,
well,
are they as good? Well, I mean, I know it's only the one, but
well, I mean,
how was your experience?
As with a lot of puzzle-esque activities, if they're not executed well, it's gonna suck. And this one, it was all right. It was clever because we actually didn't solve it. So that's I guess a testament to the brain power that went behind it. But yeah, I think the difference between this and that was, well, we weren't under the threat of death, at least to my knowledge, and it was
you're at the risk of financial death, because if you don't solve the room, then you just spent all that money for nothing. That would be my like hurrying up. It's like, hurry, we gotta solve this shit. I didn't waste my money to not solve a problem.
Yeah, don't mind the shark. In the meantime,
I like the shark. I like Jeffrey the shark. He's just chillaxing.
Is that what they? Is that the name they give him in the flavor text?
Oh, is that No, it's not the flavor text or the Kotaru Q&A name. That's an MVM original there.
Jeffrey the shark.
Look, let's see if shark is anything in here.
Hot Talk would approve of that.
Right?
I mean, probably not the fact that the shark is dead, but you naming the shark.
Right? No, one of these days I'm going to make a goddamn Prompto reference, and he's going to be the only one that gets it.
Yeah. Oh, Lotus has kids. Who would have thought?
I mean, she's much older than she appears. And then there was... I don't know, does it count as a reveal that she's good at programming? Like, that's just her character, whatever, who cares?
Well,
but, yeah.
Yeah, we saw we went through door number 8 one time, but it was the part where she just gets pissed off at us because we say, "Oh, you're old." One of her kids' names is Nona, and if you weren't paying attention, that was one of the names that Seven mentioned in his little spiel about the kids he needed to save when he was a cop.
We also got a little bit more name reveals. Just Lotus's last name. And I believe that is also all we're going to get from the game. At least that's all I remember, because I remember for a while that it's like, we didn't learn Lotus's name, but we get her last name right there.
Yeah. But as Mexi said, this is where the plot really starts to kind of kick in. This is where the mystery just starts to just become even more mysterious by the second, and you're starting to get an idea of where this game is headed towards, but you just can't quite figure out where exactly it is going. And I can guarantee you that whatever you think it may be going towards, especially if you haven't played this game at all, I can tell you it's not going to go there. It's going to go exactly in the exact opposite direction where you think it is.
I mean, it's really neat here because, yes, we are getting this information about a crime that involved a kidnapping. It was involved on a ship. Seven was involved in both. So we're getting these thematic parallels. So there's significance to the events that happened when Seven freed these kids. I mean, the events are so similar, and like that's what Junpei is betting on, is that, you know, maybe we can find the solution for getting out of here by figuring out what happened then. And but then it just turns into this big snowball of revealing the actual plot, and then the events actually are related, and this is all great. Like I said, this is when the game starts to get its speed. And where I feel that, yeah, playing the Nonary game, it's probably a lot better to just have the screen select, and instead of having to go through all the text from after the ninth guy blew up. Instead, you can just get to a point a lot closer to the ending and just following the momentum of all the information you're being given here.
Yeah. And credit to Lotus as well. This kind of reveals a lot more about her character, about how her kids, after the kidnapping and they had been sent back to their mother, she never once inquired about what exactly happened to her kids, because she knew that laying that stress on them again was just not healthy for them. And so yeah,
they were traumatized. She knew that it involved Cradle Pharmaceuticals, but I mean, it does say a lot about her character that she wouldn't pry too much into this information, that her primary concern was just her children's mental safety. I mean, you should definitely get as much information about the situation as possible, especially when, you know, it could end up coming back on you and getting yourself involved in a deadly situation. You know, some of the knowledge would have been helpful.
Yeah, but enough about that stuff. Who cares about those kids? Let's talk about the Ganzfeld experiment and how this is relevant towards the morphogenetic field.
Literally the entire series. Yeah, this is the actual first time we get like the explicit mention of the Gainesville field. I mean, all the stories before with the glycerin and the crystals and even like the dog painting, all of the similarity between all of these stories, the common theme is this non-physical communication, this thing that not even almost at a cellular level, but like at an unconscious level has some means of allowing communication, not just with people but with ideas, and that even atoms can use it to communicate. So all of these are trying to drop the idea of non-physical communication across, boundaries. And the Gainesville, or the field that they talk about here, is essentially the explicit, we were talking about all these ideas, but it's to lead up to, this is our actual, not thesis, but it's the actual mechanics that are going to be involved for the rest of the series. Is that there is a means in which information can be transmitted from a transmitter type person to a receiver type person. And they're saying it as a sci-fi idea. It's theoretical, they were testing it, but when you see the physical chair to like test these kinds of theories, it adds some horror to that science, makes it not more believable, but at least makes it more threatening to the players. Because they can be threatened by non-real things. I mean, There's the whole bomb in their stomach.
Yeah, and what was a bit more threatening was that if they hadn't been able to do this experiment in time, they had to wait another hour before they get another chance to do that. And they don't really have another hour now, do they?
They don't have any time, period.
Yeah, and I still don't quite understand how that whole thing works, but all you do is just put a bunch of switches into certain positions, and you get the puzzle done. Just like that.
Hooray!
Yeah, and honestly, I actually did think something bad was going to happen to Lotus, but nope, it was just experiment stuff. I don't know what.
I do think that, they went for such a gritty atmosphere here. Like, this room is a lot more dark and grim than the other previous rooms. I mean, we had the first class cabin. I mean, yeah, the bathroom was bloody and gory, but the room itself was pretty harmless. I mean, it was just a shower room. This is a very intimidating room with the torture chair. And then the fact that you have to do a puzzle / experiment on your fellow captees. It's sort of that whole, again, going back to Jigsaw, even though we said this game's not really like it, but that whole Jigsaw does have a puzzle where he tells like one of the detectives to become me, like do my role, and that actually kind of comes back into Zero Time Dilemma, which is the weirdest thing, because then he does the whole thing of be me, make my choices or make the same choices that I have made. And so yeah, they don't really hit it too much on this game, but it's kind of funny that that reference gets reinforced later in the series.
Yeah. All right. So the other 4 people, who hell knows where they are? In this scenario, they probably went back to the second set of doors to maybe get one of the later keys. Because, I mean, I can guarantee you they sure as hell weren't just going to stand around. Now, if you had gone through the second set of doors legitimately and went through the door number 2, you could probably give the excuse that they went either through door number 6 or 1 and were either stuck there or had already done with it and were just trying to find Lotus, 7, and Junpei again. But regardless of whether or not those scenarios are true, this still is the end result for going through the number 2 door. We have just hyping it up just a little bit.
This is kind of a frustrating ending. You get a lot of really good story points, so you kind of feel you're on the right track. You're getting more information. But, spoilers / not spoilers, everybody dead in this ending. No happy endings. We don't get the parade here.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
That's not a very pretty sight. Honestly, kind of expected it.
Yeah, but I bet most people are like, oh man, Clover died? I thought she would have been the killer again. But no, again, that's not the point of this game.
And considering everything now that it's very, 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 I don't know. It just felt kind of obvious that this would happen to this ending. But,
you walk into a room and everyone dies? It's basically a joke at this point. And then Junpei walked into a room and it basically becomes a Happy Tree Friends episode. It's like, what new zany way can they be found dead? But, still within the context of, this game never goes too off the rail with its humor. It's basically, who are you going to find dead in the rooms? Like, well, we have Lotus with us, so that kind of adds the twist. Like, we have Lotus, we saved her. Because I'm sure some people probably thought of as a time thing, make it like a Steins Gate type thing where, I have to interact with the right people to get them all to survive. So you have Lotus here, but then that just results in everyone else dying.
Yeah, but another one of the conundrums for this ending, as we kind of just already saw, one of the doors was already opened, and it required a key that we hadn't gotten yet. Now, you can assume that the other team already got it. Now, that's fine. However, this here, the sun door, we have the sun key. We already know it was supposed to be locked, and it's unlocked.
What?
What to heck? Now, considering future events and how this ending plays out, you can make a couple of assumptions, but the game never explicitly tells you about a lot of stuff in this particular ending, which I would say kind of goes towards its benefit.
It makes it more ambiguous. There. It kind of shows the wibbly wobbliness of these timelines. Like, these are dead timeline endings here. But and so because I can, like, again, it's so weird that you get all this after the big plot ending. But I guess it also kind of makes this feel a bit more required. Not mandatory, but if you really want to play 999, getting the submarine ending is part of it. Otherwise, you don't understand a quarter of what's going on.
Like, even when the game eventually reveals what the entire plot is about, you really don't get those extra plot points that this ending offers.
Yeah, this is the Lotus ending, basically.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to get too much. Like, we get the fact that she had daughters and they were twins, and then, at that point, she becomes kind of a proxy character. Instead, it just becomes... Because then her daughters are actually part of the plot. They actually affect the plot. Lotus, after this, kind of stops affecting the plot. And honestly, to be fair, the most important thing about Lotus at this point is going to be her number, basically. Which is a shame, because, like I said, she has very interesting things when we do get the correct scene in the programming lab. She has great characterization. It's just a shame that after this, she kind of. I mean, she's still going to be involved in a plot. No arguing that. But she's going to start being involved in some pretty shameful / not very good ways.
Yeah. Speaking of painful.
Oops.
Oops! I dropped some ketchup.
Oh no! Akane made hot dogs and then just spilled them all over herself. I crushed the pizza rolls, Junpei.
Yeah, this is why I would recommend going through door number 3 in order to get to this ending, because it just makes this moment that much more heart-wrenching.
Yes, I mean, look at this close-up. Look at how great a friend's date is, but she dead.
Yeah, she's very, very, very dead.
She just couldn't keep all that Kool-Aid in the cup. She just spilled the whole damn pitcher.
For shame, for shame. And I don't think we're going to get another opportunity to ever talk about this room in particular. So, Akane, I know you're dying here, but we got to talk about this. So,
Please.
As we said, this is the submarine ending. And there is a submarine in this room. There are also a lot of other characteristics about this room that it's all in this ending, and it never, ever shows up again.
Exactly. Yes, and then because the other thing too is that a lot of this ending starts contradicting later parts of the game. Again, why are you gonna have this super ambiguous, super contradictory timeline have all the plot? Like, why couldn't all of this have just been shoved with the knife ending? Again, just because that ending is so useless in the context of the plot of this game. Also, good music too. The endings always have the best music. They save them for those moments. Just because at this point, like, you know the speed of the game. You know what you gotta do to get to the ending. So now you're just looking to see what happens. It's not a matter of like, oh, I'm searching for the ending. It's like, no, you know exactly where they are. Now you're just seeing what they are.
Yeah, and the dialogue is just so well written, especially for these scenarios. It's like, regardless of if it's whether the character's talking or if it's the bottom screen text that's being given out, it's just so very well done. I love it.
Well, especially with this interaction, I mean, the relationship between Junpei and Akane, that was like very deeply tied to the game's development. I mean, some of the first concept art involves Junpei and Akane. Their like prototype designs handcuff. So the relationship between these two is very important. I'm sure they focused like a lot of extra attention, a lot of extra detail, making sure that these scenes worked. Because I mean, like any sort of awkwardness I feel that these scenes may have, I would just credit more to the format of visual novels. I'm sure voice acting to some is an improvement, and for others is a negative, but I definitely feel that the writing in of itself is very good.
Yeah, the voices of Junpei and Akane from Zero Time Dilemma, they returned to do the voices in this game's Nonary Games version, and it's pretty much the same as how they did in Zero Time Dilemma. I thought they were good in dramatic moments, but in like regular conversation, they just felt kind of awkward here and there. But it was commendable, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Zero Time Dilemma's voice acting isn't perfect, but I think it had good moments.
Yeah.
Sean's voice actor, I like him. He gave a good performance. Although I'm kind of a sucker for kids that can like actually act good, because it's like just it's so precious and good. And then you have like really shitty child actors. It's like, be gone from my planet. It's like just be gone, get out. No, I want rockets full of you out of here.
Oh dear. I think we probably should have checked to make sure that they came back with us.
Oh no. Zero's taking matters into his hand and is just going to town on everyone. Just taking everyone one by one by one. Or it's the 9th guy back.
Yeah, and once again, Lotus's bracelet, it's gone.
Oh no, because who could benefit the most from the 8 bracelet? Just gotta leave that there. But yeah, Junpei had to say goodbye to Akane. He's like, but I will survive. I'll at least try to get out. And lol, no. Everybody's dead.
Also, another quick thing. Akane's bracelet didn't fall off after she died. Well, we can at least know that Junpei is definitely dead again.
Game over.
Jeez. Honestly, again, it felt just so obvious, but I had that slight tinge of hope, like just how I felt in the axe ending, like maybe this will end kind of nicely in a really, really fucked up way. But no, we just got stabbed at the last moment here.
No, I really like this one. Like, this gets really dark.
Yeah.
How we go through the fact that every single player choked it.
Yeah. And if that's the case, who is the one who did the killing?
Oh my god. We can definitely confirm that everyone that we saw was dead, right? They were all dead.
Yep, and there is absolutely no doubt in those statements, so feel free to not do any deep analysis on that. Hey, and that's our job.
Right? All you need to know is that everyone's dead, again.
Yeah, and this is the first ending where we get actual credits instead of just, lol, you got a bad end.
Which is neato, because I'd say this is the baddest of all ends. But you can definitely see also how this kind of does feel... I mean, I bet if they wanted to, they would make this a required ending if they could.
Yeah.
Because it just feels so interwoven into the plot. Like, so much is important. The fact that we do get this ending, I mean, it...
Just say it, Mexi. You love it. You love it so much.
It's a good ending. The submarine ending is very good, despite, like we said, a lot of the inconsistency that it brings up with what we later learn about the setting. But I mean, what they're looking for with this kind of ending, you know, the total lost state. I like it. I like what they do with this in later games when you get those endings that are just total losses. But they also tend to be the pivot points in the story. So. That's why they're also some of my favorite moments.
Mm-hmm. Just, again, everyone fucking died, man.
It was great. They all had such hope. They had the power of friendship. And then it turned out that was all for fucking nothing. Just like real life.
Yeah. And this isn't going to... I can guarantee you now, this isn't going to be the last time an ending like this pops up in the series. I won't say exactly how, but it will.
We know it's not. Like, that ending meant nothing. We don't know shit. I mean, we know a lot about Clover and Seven, but we don't know shit about what's still going on the boat.
Mm-hmm. Well, eventually we will. But we're going to have to save that for the next couple parts. And we are getting to actual plot stuff in the next part. So, prepare your booties, folks. It's only going to be ramping up from here.
That was just the ending of the prologue. Game starts next part.